What's going on, everybody? It's Virtual Handhelds 24. Today I'm going to be showing off Tomb Raider. I didn't get it updated or anything of that nature, or working better, I should say, on the RPC S3 emulator. I did get it working on my Retroid Pocket 5 though. So somebody said in the comments that you could get, Tomb Raider working through Winlator and get 40 frames a second. So I kind of found that as I already knew you could do that with the Portal, because it's a beast. You definitely emulate a lot of Windows games. But I mean, I got Metal Gear Rising working on here at 1080p, so I figured why not give Tomb Raider a chance, and sure enough I did. So I'll go over these settings while it's still booting up on the PS3 emulator. I have it at 1080p. And that's just my profile for my controls, RP5. Okay. So on performance, the turn-up driver, is 25.0. And there's a newer version of Winlator out we can use. I just haven't downloaded it yet. I was just like, well, I saw that comment and I was like, well, yeah, I know, but let's see if we could get better than your 40 frames a second. And let's see if we could do it on a lower power device. And while that's loading, we'll just go to this. But this is pretty amazing. Oh, it's working. Good. Thank God. Watch the difference. Okay. It's almost the same. Okay. So I'm gonna zoom in just a little, well, you guys can see. So I'll go over the settings with this one, but this is at 1080p. We're getting 60 frames a second. This is at true resolution at 1080p, 30 frames a second, if that. Not to mention, I think this crashed. So the whole point of this was to get the PS3 emulator to work, not to say, hey, you can play Tomb Raider. Because if you want to play Tomb Raider, you can play it on your Pocket 5, and you could definitely play it through Winlator and get, woo, look at that, over 60 frames a second. We'll go over the options. All right, so it starts you, even though I put it in 1080p, it starts off at 720. We'll start the game and I'll show you the difference between the two. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at it together, but I have most things to low, but I have quality to, or what I have quality. We'll do quality, we'll make it normal. Okay, that's the only thing we'll change, because there's a few other things you could change, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to change quality to normal. Okay, so change it to normal. Let's get out of here. Continue. And then I'll show you, I'm playing around with the settings, the differences. Now remember, I wish it would just, it's a hit or miss with the PS3 emulator, but look at this. Okay, look at the frame rates. So even though it's putting out 1080p, the graphics are set to 720, so we'll have to change that. But the best thing I could show you, so here, this basket right here is a good example. Maybe these skulls too. So let's just make sure we get the best lighting in here, because we're going to change things. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go to graphics options, and then remember I put this to normal, so you can have quality. If you want, you could change it to low, okay? And I'll show you the difference right now. No, just gotta go down here, apply. the frame rates are going to go up, but that basket, you'll see the difference. See? Okay, and for those who are like, wait, I don't see anything, like what is the difference? I'll change it back to normal, and you'll see the difference now. Obviously, it's gonna upscale the textures. See? So I figured it's better to play normal, or the graphics for normal quality, because it just looks a little better. That looked like it was Nintendo 64 versus now it looks like an actual barrel. And then for graphics, oh no, I don't want that. Sorry, I got no volume on here. Graphics, will change it to 1080p. So, and we'll keep it at normal, see what we get. Oh, it didn't work. Hold on. Thought I clicked apply. All right. We have 1080p now, and then we have the texture quality at normal. So you could play it like this, right? The frames are dropping. Well, this is a good example too. But there is no difference because it's already putting out 1080p. And I'll show you this too. Oh boy, I'm going the wrong way. It's so small, I have to like, here we go. I'm an old man. There we go. All right, 720, right? And we'll keep normal. There's no difference, right? In fact, it gets a little clearer. So 1080p, right? That's the settings that we're at, even though it says 720. And we're getting above 60 frames a second. We got texture quality to normal, or graphics or quality to normal. And it's playing like a charm. And what we'll do is we'll play a little bit of this and we'll see, because I had this at 100%. And since we've been messing with the settings, hold on, I gotta pick this. Oh no, it's gonna think. Yeah, it's thinking that I'm using a mouse now. Hold on, let me start over. Yeah, sorry about that. Because I was messing around with the screen. It thought I went into mouse mode. Okay. So we'll play a little bit and we'll see how much power we lost. The settings should relatively be the same, but just to make sure. So it's at 1080p. The screen's resolution says it's at 720, but between 720 and 1080, it looks better at 720 because the screen's putting out 1080, so it's like worsening the performance. 60 hertz, it's all the screen can handle anyways, so there's no point to go past it. And then there's a bunch of, oh no, I did it again. Oh, thank God. There's a bunch of like advanced settings. I messed around with a few of them. I mean, we could turn this off and we'll get even more performance, but I don't know how it's gonna look. So let's try that, right? Because we want to get the most out of our Retroid Pocket 5. And we'll go back to the barrel, see if there's a difference without it. I kind of like FSX. Hold on, put that back on. I mean, our frame rate's increased, right? But what's the point if the screen can't go that high, right? So I didn't take it off, it actually stayed on. Okay, good. So we're definitely This is playing a lot better than the PS3 emulation. Now, since we're running it on the Retroid Pocket 5, obviously you're going to be able to run this at... Someone said medium settings. I think you can play this at high settings on the Portal. And since I have the game now, I can just transfer it to the Portal and really test it out later, but we'll see if I get to that. Remember how long it took us to jump to? Right away. And the version of Winlator Frost I'm using, again, it's not the most updated one. There's an even more updated one. And before, when we were playing this, we couldn't hear anything. And now we can hear everything. So this game is supposed to be running at 60 frames. And like I said, we were playing it with like at 10 frames with the speed turned up 3 times to like equal 30. Oh, and then also, I didn't go over VSync I have off. So we can like turn that on and things will align, probably most likely with the audio, but then you'll lose frames. And I'll show once we get over this part, I'll show what happens when we put VSync on. So we'll do VSync right now because we're getting the 60 frames, right? We'll turn it on. Double buffer, triple buffer. I don't think we can handle that. Ugh, that's our options. Alright, I don't know what's gonna happen. I apologize if something goes wrong. But for the sake of figuring this out together. Alright, so now we're 40, or above 40. Does it fix the audio issue? No. Not really, so what's the point of having that on? I think the Retroid Pocket does just fine without it. Right. Except I gotta get more used to these damn... settings. And if we take quality, just quality all around to low, then the frame rates will increase even more. I'm just pushing it a little bit because we're still getting just about 60 or just under 60. I mean, this is very playable. And we're playing at 1080p.
What kind of contraption is this?
Even though it says 720. But I could be wrong about that. Could be 1080p screen and then it's outputting. I don't know. That I'll have to do more research on. But here, this is a good shot. We'll see if she and the crate clears up if we change it to 1080p. It's just when you push, like, I think it's doing double 1080p, if that makes sense. I think because it's already doing 1080p. Alright, let's see. Like, I don't see a difference. We just lose a bunch of frames, right? Let's see if we can get like as close as possible. Man, just imagine like 60 hertz. We go to the portal, we got 120. See, there's no difference because I think the emulator's already putting out 1080p. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm not gonna try to like really play this right now and waste time, but I just wanted to show this off because it does play well. It's very playable. We get well above 40 frames a second. This is the Retroid Pocket 5. I don't know if the person was commenting thinking that the Retroid Pocket 5 could play it, but it definitely can. So if this can play it at these settings, you know the portal's going to be able to increase much more. And this only has 8 gigs of RAM. Keep that in mind. But yeah, Tomb Raider is definitely playable. I'm just running back and forth just to show, like, you know, frames go up, frames go down, but it's still very playable. And then on top of that, this is a good scene. We'll take it. We'll do quality low. Apply. Hopefully that doesn't crash. Okay. Not much of a difference, right? And now look at our frame rates. Even though the screen can only do 60, this is a clean 60 now because the frame rates are saying it's in this high 60s, low 70s. So yeah, pretty impressive stuff. So I can't wait for my flip to come in. I'm gonna be using this basically to get the flip ready to do what I want to do with it, because obviously like these controls, granted I'm not using the shooter so it's not so bad right now, but it is cramping my thumbs without my grip. So I thought this was pretty impressive. And for the person that commented on this, it's like, it's no offense to them, it's just, yeah, I know that, it's just the idea is like, well, a lot of games that ran on the 360 or the PS3, if you get the PC port and you emulate it through Winlator or via GameHub, you're definitely going to be able to play them at higher resolutions with higher frame rates on the portal versus emulating it through like the PS3 emulator. But you know, it's still an alpha build and it's still like in a work in progress. But even when it gets fully optimized, I don't think you'll be able to, without patches, get like these kind of frame rates unless you do the hack and speed up the gameplay. So the only problem is with PC games is just this is now completely full based off like the one I had to move Metal Gear Rising to my SD card, and I can't play it that way because it's not an express SD card, which I might probably get sooner than later, and start putting Windows games on the express SD card. And from an express SD card, you'll be able to play Window games smooth. You know, you won't need to just install them and have them on your internal storage, because like these little devices only come in 128 gigs, which sucks. It is what it is. But with the express micro SD cards, start investing them now, especially with the Switch 2 coming. You're going to need it, but you'll be able to store your Windows games on there. And then from Winlator, let me get out of here. We'll just close that down. From Winlator, let's go to containers. I think it's either the C drive or the Z drive. I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe it's the C drive. Let's find out. What do we got on there? No. Let's go here. find out right now. GOG games, programs, files, user Windows data. Maybe it's the E drive. I forget. I'll have to figure it out. I think it's the C drive. I'm not sure. Whatever my SD card is on this, I forget if it's a C drive or C drive. I think I have to set it up. That's why we'll be able to install and run the games from the micro SD card. I'll definitely be making a tutorial on that sooner than later, probably in the next week or two coming up. Once I get that SD card, especially with like Retroid Pocket 5, you're gonna want those kind of SD cards to run games that you can actually run. Like Tomb Raider was surprising with those settings too, amazing. You won't be able to fit more than like a game or two on the device if you're gonna run it properly, because you got to use your internal storage. So it's definitely needs a tutorial. I'll get working on that. Someone also asked for an emulation station with RetroArch tutorial. That's going to probably be towards the weekend when I get more time to work on that. I just wanted to show off Tomb Raider and the differences between emulating on a high-end device through a PS3 emulator versus Winlator, where you can emulate it and get way better performance on a much lower end device. And I don't mean to say it's much lower, it's just, it is what it is. It's still a great chip. It's just that there's less RAM, less storage, less performance, but we're still getting amazing performance on a device like this with that game. So keep that in mind. Stay tuned. I'll try to post more videos, but I definitely wanted to show off Tomb Raider on the Retroid Pocket 5. Take full advantage. I got it off GOG. You can get it off GOG a different way for nothing. I'll just say that. But again, it's better to get the GOG games because they have the installation process. I'll show you that real quick. That's like almost guaranteed for it to install correctly without doing extra steps for certain drivers and what have you, or whatever else needs to be installed. But they always have like this little setup, this little orange setup, and you click that to install and it does everything. And once that's done installing, you could just close out of it, and then it even creates a shortcut for you. And the shortcut is important because it makes the shortcut, and then from there you have like the settings, and this is how you set it all up, which is easy. So again, I recommend it. The list is not that big on GOG for especially like more recent games or AAA games, non-existent. So, but for a game like this, it's on there. You can get it. Like I said, you can get it a different way. You know, leave it at that. But as long as it's the GOG, you have the full setup, and it works the best with the installation. And then with Winlator, it's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. Again, I didn't mess around with GameHub too much to get games running. I just tried to use it to access Steam, which I did, and then I got bored and deleted it. So now I got to get back into it, I guess. But yeah, take full advantage. Works completely fine. We play 1080p, we play 720, we play low quality, we play normal quality, all great frame rates. Game looks beautiful, and at most times we get above 60 frames per second. With quality low, you'll get higher than 60. So keep that in mind. All right, thanks again for watching. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.